Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farsi Show presented by mybookie.ag. It's wonderful to have you along for the ride. Despite the fact that our baseball team now sucks, what a horrible weekend. It was awful, just terrible weekend. The Bryce Harper line that has been on repeat in my brain since he was placed on the 10-day IL, which I think is going to take a little bit longer than 10 days. Let's be real. The Bryce Harper line of I can't really function on a baseball field right now. That really has been just on repeat on my brain all weekend. And watching this Phillies team go out there and lose 2-1 in consecutive games, absolutely blow gems, 7 innings, 2 runs by Christopher Sanchez, and then previous to him, Ranger Suarez on Saturday. It makes me go, hey, it'd be nice to have a guy that seemed like he was at least really figuring it out. And you know what else I went back to? I went back to, now this is going to sound crazy to some people because it ended in a home run, but I mentioned game 1, first inning, the second of the back-to-back home runs he hit with Trey Turner against the Toronto Blue Jays. I mentioned that his swing looked different. It didn't have the normal violence of a Bryce Harper swing. Maybe it was the boiling point. He pushed through the next couple of games. God love him, but just didn't look right. There was something about it. And a couple days later, here he is going on the 10-day IL stint, supposedly. Well, that's what he is, but I think it's going to be more than 10 days. This is a huge blow to the Phillies. And here's the thing. It shouldn't be as big a blow. You should have other guys on this roster that are going to help the Phillies along to actually win baseball games. And hold on, how about this? Score runs. The Bryce Harper is the savior. Bryce Harper is what makes this team click. I agree that Bryce Harper is what makes this team go. No, I have no doubt about that. But there are other guys in this lineup that should really pick up the slack left behind by Bryce Harper. And you could say, oh, you're losing a 2-time MVP. I'm the guy that argues for Bryce Harper as a superstar. I'm the guy that argues for Bryce Harper is, oh, it's kind of hard to be overrated when you're a 2-time MVP. And all that being said, Kyle Schwarber, horrible time to go cold. Bryson Stott has been terrible as a leadoff hitter. That's something that absolutely has to change. I love his approach, but when the approach does not equal production, there's no point in having him as the leadoff hitter. I saw when I saw the lineup coming up, a month and a half ago of him, the leadoff guy. Oh, I love this lineup. This is what I love. And then he's been a huge disappointment. But now Rob Thompson has to correct that mistake. Trey Turner's got to be at the top spot, or you got to move Kyle Schwarber back to that spot, which I doubt because then you got no power in the middle of the lineup. I look at JT Realmuto as a huge disappointment. I look at Max Kepler as being pretty much exactly what I thought he would be, which was a disappointment. And now nobody else in this lineup is going to pick up the slack left behind by Bryce Harper. And I don't need just one guy to go off. Rob Thompson said something the other day that I really agreed with. And it was after game 2, after the game 2 loss. Bryce Harper's not playing now. After the game 2 loss to the Pirates where they got swept out of Pittsburgh over the weekend. Yeah, another horrible thing. But Rob Thompson said after the game, he goes, it's one thing to lose a guy. It's another thing to have a guy go cold or 2 guys go cold because a couple other guys in the lineup are going to pick him up. So what, is Brandon Marsh now going to be the guy that picks everybody else up because didn't see that coming? And here's the thing. He's not even picking people up. He's just not the worst guy in the lineup right now. Like, here you go. Just don't be god-awful, and we could be pretty good. That's what the Phillies locker clubhouse needs to be thinking. I am absolutely blown away by how terrible the Phillies were and have been over the last 13 games. I know everyone's making a big deal of, was it losing 8 of 9, 9 of 10, whatever it is. It's 10 of 13. Like a little saving grace there where they beat the Braves 2 out of 3, which thank goodness for that. Otherwise, we would really be going bonkers. But I watch this Phillies team right now, and they just look lifeless. And don't give me Paul Skeens. Oh, they played Paul Skeens yesterday. Oh, yeah? Is that what? How about Chris Bassett? Yeah, the guy they've seen a bunch and they couldn't do anything off him. So it's not just the fact that they played, against Paul Skeens. Hey, he's great. No denying that. But you can't continue to have performances like this. Oh, it was back-to-back 2-1 losses. Back-to-back gems by your starting pitchers. Be absolutely blown by an offense that can't hit. And this is what I always go back to with the Phillies, and this is why we all have trust issues. This is why we all can't have nice things with the Phillies. This is what haunts us as a fan base. The amazing consistency of the Phillies offense to just go completely cold. It happens every year, a couple times a year. And I remember, last year, Phillies get off to the incredible start, and then they come back down to earth. Phillies got off to not such a great start, but a decent start. And then they start climbing the ranks. This time last year, June 9th, they were 25 games over 500. But they were just starting to come back down to earth. They would later see that go to about 49 and 49 and 45, 25. They would see that go to 49 and 26. They would really see that gap start to be closed between that and the 500 mark. 8 games over 500 after the 37-14 start of last year. Now you saw the Phillies really start to get up there. 13 games over 500, now 9 games over 500, and it doesn't seem like it's trending in the right direction, especially now that you're going to face at home, albeit, a Chicago Cubs team, and you're going to get Zach Wheeler back in your rotation, back from paternity leave. Welcome back, Zach Wheeler. This Phillies team just continues to look like a team that is in free fall because they are in free fall. And this is what I believe does, in fact, haunt us. And that makes us go back to the World Series against the Astros, where they got no hit after an onslaught the previous game. This haunts you like going up against the Arizona Diamondbacks, where all of a sudden they can't hit. Who's going to be that guy to step up in this lineup and make sure that this Phillies team doesn't fall by the wayside? Losing 10 of 13. And I know a lot of people will look to, oh, did you just say 9 games? Only 9 games over 500? Well, I'm really scared. Well, this happens quick, unfortunately, because we've seen the play before. We know how it ends. The fact that the Phillies rattled off 9 straight wins. By the way, a sweep against the Pirates, a lot of us, myself included, took for granted all those weeks ago. 2-3 weeks ago now? Oh, they swept the Pirates? Oh, they should sweep the Pirates. Oh, they swept the Rockies? You should sweep the Rockies. You should take 2 out of 3 against the A's. That 9-game winning streak, I said it during, and I even said it last week. It was only fool's gold if you're a fool. You have to always consider the opponent. Are they doing what they should do against the opponent? Great. Grand. Does it make me have any more confidence that this Phillies team is going to be a legitimate World Series contender? Absolutely not. And then what do? They drop 2 of 3 to a middling Toronto Blue Jays team. And then they get swept by that very same Pirates team that a lot of us took for granted when they swept in South Philadelphia. Now they're facing the Cubs team that they already took 2 of 3 when the Cubs were playing some pretty damn good baseball. Now the Cubs still playing some pretty damn good baseball, and they're going up against them tonight to start that 3-game series. Yeah, it would show me something if the Phillies came out swinging. It would show me something if the Phillies went out tonight and actually did something wildly 7 runs. That would blow me away. I just have no confidence that they'll do it. Now, just as they get cold, of course, they can get hot, but you know what's looming? It's that cold spell again. It's what they're going through right now. And I know in Major League Baseball, and here's the other part of it. For, again, the optimists that want to look at it and say, oh, it's still 9 games over 500. You're doing great. Yeah. 9 games over 500 thanks to that 9-game winning streak where you beat those subpar teams. And now you just got swept by one of those subpar teams. This is the exact Phillies team that we thought we were getting when the season started. Wonderful hot streaks against inferior opponents, far inferior. They don't play down to them, thank goodness, at least not till recently. And a team that does not look like they are going to sniff another World Series title with the core they have together now. And did I say the World Series title? Sorry. World Series appearance. Big difference there. Sniff another World Series appearance with the core they have together now. And that's just horribly disappointing. And we make the comparison a lot between the Sixers and the Phillies, where a lot was promised, a lot of money was spent, a lot of overpromising, and drastic under-delivering. And that's what we're going through right now again with the Phillies. And I look at Dave Dombrowski. And I'm like, this is not going well for him. Jordan Romano allows a game-winning run where there's some dink and dunk hits. Yes, absolutely. Was there a bunt single that just stayed fair? Yes, there absolutely was. But he hasn't looked like it recently. Max Kepler, holy Lord, does that guy suck? And I remember saying in the offseason, people, oh, Max Kepler, great. Not it. Still not it in left field. Definitely not it in left field. Or in the lineup, for that matter. And then I look at Jesus Luzardo, who I do have confidence in. And I saw a story come out over the weekend. Scott Lauber had at Inquirer.com about that the fact that they do feel like Max Kepler, or excuse me, that Jesus Luzardo has in fact been tipping pitches and giving something away. They're working on it. So hopefully he's back with authority in his next start. But these three guys, especially recently, Max Kepler really the whole year, but these three guys have not exactly made Dave Dombrowski look like a genius. Going back to last year, Whit Merrifield, a guy that gets waived. That hasn't really worked well for Dave Dombrowski either. So what's the move? Reports Phillies are going to be shopping for, according to Bob Nightingale, bullpen help. Shocking. Phillies going to be looking for help in center field, which I'm like, I can live with center field. I can't live with left field. And the abomination that's been with a sub 300 on base percentage we're talking about here. Like, I can't live with that. Brandon Marsh through May, 300 hitter, 370, or it should be 298 hitter, 370 on base percentage. I can live with that. Give me more of that. And I know Brandon Marsh has a tendency, he looks like he's figured it out. And then he hits 200 for a month, if you're lucky. But left field, to me, is the bigger problem. Like, it was nice to have Kyle Schwarber out there. You at least knew you had a great bat. But now you have a great bat in the lineup still with the DH, but he's gone a little cold right now. And this is cold with a home run in this series, by the way. 20th of the season. So there's a lot of things you can look at there. But when it comes to the trade deadline, you better get bullpen help. And, you better get a left fielder. I know, Brandon Marsh didn't have the best defensive series. Went back on that ball in the ninth inning before he should have come in. That was also charged to Jordan Romano. But then comes up with an incredible play in the third inning of yesterday's game, I think it was, where he went up against the wall. So he's got that in him. Left field, I need some pop, and I need somebody that can run around a little bit. Dave Dombrowski has a tall order in front of him because you can't wait to the trade deadline with this team. There has to be some shot of life. Hey, I would love to think that shot of life is going to be Otto Kemp. Coming up from the minor leagues. Love the fact that he's getting this opportunity. Absolutely love it. You really hope it pans out. Somebody's got to hit in this lineup. So far, 2 games, 1 walk. That's what you've gotten so far. We'd love to see a little bit more. The numbers he put up, for instance, in minor league ball, but don't know if that's going to happen. Dave Dombrowski can't look at Otto Kemp as a savior. Dave Dombrowski can't look at Bryce Harper right now as if it's all doom and gloom and we just got to wait till he gets back and then we'll be fine. No, he was in the lineup against the Brewers when he got swept. He was in the lineup against Toronto Blue Jays when he lost 2 or 3. He's been in the lineup most of the 10 losses that you've had in your last 13 games. You can't look at it as, all right, well, we'll just wait till he gets back. You got a lot more work ahead of you, Dave Dombrowski. As far as Rob Thompson goes, and I know in modern baseball, it's not always the manager just owns the lineup card and he makes the lineup card as seen fit. I know it's a group effort in putting that together. But you do look at the manager, and I look at Rob Thompson, and there is no way that Bryson Stott should continue to hit leadoff. Absolutely no way. we all love an 8-pitch at bat. We all love a 10-pitch at bat. He had a 10-pitch at bat the other day and it resulted in a single. He won that battle. Good for him. But those long ABs, they mean nothing unless you're getting production. The one exception I can make is if it's the first, if he's leading off the first inning and he has a 10-pitch at bat and everyone in the dugout sees what's going on with the pitcher that day, and then they all hit better after that. But the hitting hasn't been there either, so it ain't helping anybody right now. And talking about him with a .230 batting average and a .298 on base percentage as a leadoff hitter this year, no thanks. That ain't getting it done. Hey, look, Trey Turner's far from perfect. I get it. But he's the guy that should be leading off for this ball club. And that's a change that Rob Thompson can make right now. That's a simple, like, oh, put this name here instead of there. All right. Because, hey, look, I love Bryce Harper, gold glove caliber, second baseman. We've been talking about his potential for 4 years now. It'd be nice if he could reach that potential. And right now in the leadoff spot, he ain't doing it. So give me that guy a little further down the lineup. A lot further down the lineup. Basically where you have him hit against lefties, like 7th. And let's rock. The one guy that I think could have a really big impact on this Phillies team and help them tremendously is a guy that I don't see going anywhere anytime soon, and that's Rafael Marchand. Because JT ain't it either. You're talking about guys left field struggling. You're talking about the catching position for the Philadelphia Phillies to be just terrible offensively this year. JT Realmuto, absolutely incredible the career he's had, and defensively especially, he's been Hall of Fame level as a defensive catcher. Recently at the plate, he has not warranted the everyday role. He has not justified Rafael Marchand as a once-a-week type of player. You need to get a lot more out of the catching spot. You need to get a lot more out of left field. Alec Boehm, yesterday in the game, look, he's been a much better hitter recently, but swinging at that first pitch, you got a first pitch sinker that he just did not anticipate running as far away as it did, and he topped it, bounced her up the middle, grounded into the double play after a Trey Turner leadoff double, or one-out double, excuse me. That is just awful. Got the pitch he wanted, but that's why you should wait a little bit. See what the guy's throwing. Oh, that's got great run on it. Maybe I'm going to lay off that one. Nobody try to jump all over it. Him at first base, I don't have an issue with in the time Bryce Harper's gone. Otto Kemp at third base, I'd love to see continue to develop. Edmundo Sosa has cooled off drastically. And Nick Castellanos has been your typical Nick Castellanos. The two spots that I would love to see upgraded for the Phillies, and one I think you can do in-house, is Rafael Marchand, but I don't think he's going to be a savior by any means. But left field needs to be a spot that Dave Dombrowski addresses. And right now, at the top of the order, I as much as it pains me to say, because I had such high hopes when I saw his name slotted in there at the leadoff spot, is Bryson Stott. It ain't working. It hasn't worked. It's time to move on. It's been over a month. I know you've won a lot of games. 9 of those games were against some crap teams, but there's no justification for it at this point. So those are a couple of things that I'd love to see addressed. One is, two are simple. More Rafael Marchand, he's here. And no Bryce Harper at the top of the order, or Bryson Stott at the top of the order. Going back to Bryce Harper, again, hearing him say the line, I can't function on a baseball field right now. Can't swing, can't throw, can't catch, whatever. I can't function as a baseball player right now, essentially. It's a $330 million guy. There was some conversation about a contract extension. Bonkers, I know. I do believe that Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are the heartbeat of this Phillies team. Kyle Schwarber going cold right now is the worst possible timing. Bryce Harper not being here to try to help a team through the lull horrible timing. I do think this is something that's been bothering Bryce. He even said the wrist injury has been bothering him pretty much all year. The elbow injury has aided the wrist with pain. It is added to the discomfort that he is having. The other phrase that he used was the fluid is coming down to the wrist. And I'm like, I'm no doctor, but gross. And second, why the hell wasn't he just placed on the IL when he was hitting the arm by Spencer Strider? Hitting the elbow by Spencer Strider, his bum elbow? And also, why no protection? Why was he not wearing protection? Even before, it's uncomfortable. You're a $330 million guaranteed player. I want you in bubble wrap and maybe even a suit of armor when you go up to the plate. I don't care. Especially if you've already had that elbow reconstructed. It's a dark time right now for the Phillies. It's a very, very, very dark time. And there's really the unfortunate thing is, even if they do rattle off 7 runs tonight, or their offense explodes, it's like you just wait for the next time. Or you wait for the bullpen to come in and blow it. So that's my overall vibe on the Phillies right now. It's just a very, very dark, dark time. And if you look at the schedule right now, there really doesn't seem to be much let up with the Phillies schedule. Considering the way this is going to go the rest of the first half of the season here. Chicago for 3. Toronto comes Philadelphia. Good times. You got the Marlins. Hey, the Marlins. And then right after that, you got the Mets. 3-game series at home against the Mets, which is, you win that 3-game series against the Mets, and oh, man, you feel fantastic. You feel like, oh, they're back on track. They got revenge against the Mets. Then you got Houston. Then you got Atlanta. Then you got San Diego. Then Cincinnati. San Francisco Giants. And then San Diego again. So before the All-Star game, you got the Mets. You got the Padres, who are right now 10 games over 500. You got some pretty good ball clubs, including this series with the Chicago Cubs. Like, there is a pretty damn good chance the Phillies are a 500 baseball team by the All-Star break. You got to beat up on the Marlins in that 4-game series. They got to stack those W's as much as possible. Just be in the right spot. Right now, they're in the final wild card spot in the National League. In the National League by 1 game, the Phillies are. The Cardinals are right there in the hunt with them. We're having a good time. Do you have, in all honesty, do you have confidence that the Phillies are going to be a wild card team? Like I've said all year, and I'm maintaining, I'm not jumping ship right now as far as maintaining the idea that it'll still be a playoff team. But again, every time I say that, I said it about the Eagles last year. I said it about the Eagles after the win over the Browns. The beginning of their 10-game winning streak. I said, I went into this game thinking the Eagles were going to be a playoff team, probably one and done. I'm leaving this game thinking the Eagles are going to be a playoff team, one and done. The win did nothing for me. Oh, you think this is a playoff team? You think this is a playoff team? Yes, but again, let's not act like making the playoffs in modern sports is a real accomplishment. It's not. It ain't what it used to be. It's like, oh, you're around the top 40 percentile? You're in the top 40%? Oh, okay, you're a playoff team. That ain't a brag. Top 10%, top 5%. That's a brag. Not like 40%. That's not that great. And that's what I think the Phillies are. So I still think they're going to be a wild card team. I still think they will be a wild card team. Comes to win the division, forget about it. Not if Dave Dombrowski keeps sitting on his thumbs. Not if Rob Thompson doesn't shake things up. Hey, the other move here, which I still don't see happening, is Rob Thompson gets canned. I guarantee you, if they're under 500 by the All-Star break, Rob Thompson, dunzo. I don't know if Dusty Wathan gets the responsibility to take over. I know that's something people have been clamoring for since his days with the Iron Pigs. To me, I don't know what the other best option is. Mike Calitri, their bench coach. It happened before to Joe Girardi with Rob Thompson. They went to the World Series. I know a classic case people like to bring up is Jack McKeon with the Marlins those years ago. That won in 03, 22 years ago. But something they absolutely need that shakeup. And it's got to start with the lineup. It's got to start with Dave Dombrowski. And if this Phillies team continues this free fall, yeah, then you are talking about the ultimate shakeup with Rob Thompson. As far as the yesterday's game went, Phillies and Pirates, I am well, let's start with Saturday. Saturday, there's a bases loaded, or excuse me, there's a runner on the 1-1 game, 7th inning. Alec Boehm leads off with that double, goes to third on a wild pitch. It's a 1-1 ball game at this point. You have a runner on third and nobody out. And you don't get that run home. Nick Castellanos is at the plate. It's 2-0, wild pitch, Boehm goes to third. He works it to 3-0. And then he looks. And I have defended Nick Castellanos more than most. He looks at the next 3 strike calls and goes down looking. Nick Castellanos is one of the most over-aggressive baseball players in the entire league, in all of Major League Baseball. They were laughing about it last year in that series against the Braves over Labor Day, where I was like, oh, this is his percentile swing at the first pitch. It's 1,000%. Wow, that seems like a record. It is. And he looks at 3 straight strike calls, including one at the bottom of the zone that was in the zone, albeit the bottom of the zone. Doesn't drive the ball. Nothing. Not even a sac fly RBI. Nothing. All the junk we have seen Nick Castellanos swing at over the years in a 3-0 count with the go-ahead run on third base. Nothing. Bat doesn't leave his shoulder. He sits down. Then JT Realmuto, then Bryson Stott all fly out. Both those guys fly out. The run doesn't come home. Going to bottom of the 7th inning, they end up going ahead. I think was that Gonzalez's home run? I can't remember. And there's your opportunity to try to get another run. Gone. And then yesterday, Brandon Marsh and Rafael Marchand are your heroes as far as the offense goes yesterday. 3 hits. 5 hits, I think, in game 1, 4 hits in game 2, 3 hits yesterday. And while Christopher Sanchez was in the game, tossing an absolute gem against Paul Skeens, Christopher Sanchez got 2 hits and 1 run of support from his offense. 2 hits and 1 run of support. Yeah, that ain't going to do it. That ain't going to do it. I was surprised at 96 pitches that Rob Thompson let Christopher Sanchez come back out for the 8th inning. I love it because that is the baseball I grew up with. And yeah, man, hey, you keep going until you can't. Well, he threw 4 pitches. All of them were balls to O'Neal Cruz, who he had owned up until that point. And then Orion Kerkering came in. The other reason it was surprising that he let Christopher Sanchez go out there in the 8th inning there at 96 pitches was because he already had Orion Kerkering warming up in the previous inning. So I thought, oh, well, if he's warming up now and Christopher Sanchez gets out of this, he'll be done after 7 innings of one run. But no, Rob Thompson decided to leave him in there against O'Neal Cruz. He walked him on 4 pitches. O'Neal Cruz ended up coming around to score the game-winning run. On a play that I'm still a little baffled by that took so long for Nick Castellanos to get that ball into home. And when he did, it was there was not a lot on that throw, and the throw was offline. O'Neal Cruz goes from second to third on the humpback broken bat single by Andrew McCutchen off of Ryan Kerkering. O'Neal Cruz, after stealing second base, takes off on contact. He's approaching third base on this broken bat single by Andrew McCutchen in shallow right field. O'Neal Cruz is watching Bryson Stott go back on this baseball. He is seeing Nick Castellanos come in on this baseball. O'Neal Cruz holds up and stumbles a little bit around third. Ball hits the ground. And Nick Castellanos, after watching the replay, I was shocked. I thought Nick Castellanos had fallen down. It took so long for this ball to get thrown in. Nick Castellanos actually fielded the ball promptly, came up throwing, and it looked like a little lofted eephus pitch to home as O'Neal Cruz scored. They could have had him. With a decent play, they would have had him. And it just was so slow developing. And it's rare you see that happen in baseball to the extent it happened in this game. But I don't know what was you had everything in place. O'Neal Cruz is basically on third base when Castellanos has the ball in his mitt. And I know O'Neal Cruz can run like the Dickens, but oh my goodness gracious, this took forever. It honestly does feel, look, and this is no excuse whatsoever. The Phillies created this for themselves. It honestly feels like they could do nothing right. Absolutely nothing right. And they got to find a way to pull themselves out of this. So they're going to keep our interest up until training camp. Please give us that. Got the NBA draft coming up. That's exciting. Everything else has just been horrendous with this Phillies team. So anyway, yeah, they start tonight. They're home against the Chicago Cubbies. So there you go. Good times. Zach Wheeler on the hill. One thing I've seen these come. Pro Football Focus had Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback. We're approaching the training camp portion of the offseason. Not really the offseason anymore. And I know the lists are coming with Jalen Hurts. I haven't seen any yet, but I still have this horrible feeling that Justin Herbert is going to be ranked above Jalen Hurts by a lot of people again. And when it happens, it's going to be some somewhat credible, quote-unquote, website that puts it out there about Jalen Hurts being worse than whoever, And obviously, we can all look back and just go, well, he's a Super Bowl champion, a 2-time NFC champion, a Super Bowl MVP. He's been a runner-up in the MVP voting, and that was before Saquon Barkley got here. I am not going to lose my mind. I thought this would be a good time where we could all get on the same page here. I am not going to lose my mind over any list that slights Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to do it. When talking about his season last year with people that are not in the market, I talk about Jalen Hurts last year as kind of cracking a code. And I was on with Sills the other day, and he asked me about Donovan McNabb versus Jalen Hurts. And I said, one of the things I really admire about Jalen Hurts is that he is selfless. Absolutely selfless when it comes to how they're getting the football down the field. He doesn't care if he's going to be the star of the show. He doesn't care if he is going to be handing the ball off to Saquon Barkley. The thing I went back to was Donovan had that jealousy with Terrell Owens. It's been talked about. It's documented. T.O. was getting a lot more credit than Donovan had been, and Donovan had been here that whole time and won a lot of games, been in NFC Championship games, and didn't win. And then finally, T.O. breaks his leg, and then he wins the NFC Championship game. T.O. comes back from the Super Bowl. The T.O. chants are going just absolutely bonkers. And Donovan had a little jealousy there. That wouldn't happen with Jalen Hurts. And that's one of the things I had said throughout this season that I love about his game. It's just that with Jalen Hurts, there's a selflessness to his game. It's keeping the main thing the main thing. So whatever offseason conversation gets had about where people are putting quarterbacks as far as who's the best and top 10, top 40, whatever. Jalen Hurts is king of the castle right now. Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, I don't think he's going to give a damn about any list. And even if he did, he's only going to use that as motivation. But the only promise I can make you personally is that I'm not going to lose my mind over somebody that ranks Justin Herbert over him or somebody that puts Joe Burrow over him. For all the talent Joe Burrow has had, there hasn't been a lot of accomplishment. There used to be a little bit of a comparison there, considering both had been to a Super Bowl. Well, now Jalen Hurts has been to 2 and he's won one. So, and he's been the MVP. So. Oh, and the quarterback that Joe Burrow lost to in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts beat in the playoffs. Funny. And nobody really wants to acknowledge that. And the coach, too, by the way. I'm not going to lose my mind over it. As much as Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs wet the bed in the Super Bowl, I think Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL. I have Jalen Hurts right behind him. Those are the two best. Josh Allen has an adorable MVP award for the regular season. That's cute. I hope everybody in Buffalo enjoys that. I mean that. That doesn't mean nearly as much as a Super Bowl MVP award. So when the lists come out, which is, 'tis the season, not going to lose my mind over it. Especially because a lot of people don't understand the game Jalen Hurts is playing. Jalen Hurts is playing a game where all that matters is the W. The stats that go into it, whatever. And there's no stat, as I said through all of last year, there's no stat for Jalen Hurts reading a play properly and then giving the ball to Saquon Barkley. Whoa, what's the best odds to score on this one? Oh, here you go. Not, I'm gonna thread the needle here because I need to make sure I get my numbers. No. Saquon? Okay, boom. There's no stat that Jalen Hurts gets for that after properly reading the defense. Some other guys just don't do that. No, I'm the one that's got to make the play. No, you're not. If you have a team around you, if you have other players that can make that play, and the odds are better, Jalen just puts them in the best possible position. It's very much like having a coach on the field. Oh, how can I put my offense in the best possible position to make a play here? Oh, I don't have to be that guy. I mean, I could certainly be that guy on the goal line because that gives us the best chance to get 7. But all throughout the game, I'm going to rely on what's around me. And if I can't, like the Super Bowl, then I'll make the plays. Just like the Super Bowl. So just brace yourself. The lists are coming. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? For instance, Phillies are playing the Cubs tonight. Let's say you don't want to go to that and you'd much rather go to some other event. Game Time app has you covered. You can also view your seat's vantage point before you buy the ticket, so you take the guesswork out of buying tickets. They got the Game Time guarantee for the guaranteed lowest price. And don't forget about Game Time Picks, which filters out all the fluff on the Game Time app. So you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices, courtesy of Game Time Picks on the Game Time app. So once again, download the app, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's phlsportsnation.com. How about our good friends over at Sky Motorcars? Brett's amazing inventory at skymotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check. What's going on? Danny Prado, what's going on? Homicide Boys, Xander on this show? Xander's not on this show. Good dude, not on the show. Jess G94, hello. This core is old for the Phillies. Young players haven't progressed. But that bullpen has killed this team. I concur. Until Dave fixes the bullpen, we aren't contending. Don't trust Romano to hold a 5-run lead. Wow, Jess is going off. Jess, welcome to the party. Jesse G94. Marsh, Stott, Bohm are the exact same players they were in 2022. They haven't progressed at all into their primes. I agree. Go Sixers. Farzi, they stink. Go Birds. Right. Philly forever. What's going on? Why do we wait for our prospects to be 27 before we give them a shot? Makes no sense. William Stark, good morning. Farzy, Thompson has to stop the platoon system. They're running on empty. I feel like he's gone a lot less with the platoon in center field. A little bit more with the platoon in left field. But just everywhere you look, just a lot of disappointment right now for the Phillies. Go Sixers. Tinker Topper needs to be fired. It's run its course. I'm with you. I think that's where we're headed, to be honest with you. Sean Gillespie, painful to watch the Phillies rage, right? Go Sixers says bye, JT. Sean Kilrain, see ya, Kevin Long. I have more confidence in the Phillies keeping Kevin Long than keeping Rob Thompson. I'll put it to you like that. I think Dusty Wathan is going to end up managing this baseball team. 5-5 Porter, what's going on? Yesterday they went up against the guy who will probably go down as the GOAT pitcher when it's all said and done. No need to panic. What about Chris Bassett in Toronto? That wasn't fun. What about, I don't even remember who the Phillies play in game 2 of this series. I don't know, but they got shut down by him as well. Ken Saad, God bless you as well. What's going on? No protection equals he wants vacation down the shore. Oh, production. Sorry. Means he wants vacation down the shore. Right. Sean Gillespie, the Phillies need a major shakeup. Manager has no answers again. It's terrible. Rye, what's up? Pro Football Focus Florio is already talking about jumping to Eagles bandwagon if the Vikings lose to them. Bring it on, Mike Florio. Jeremy Von Skyver, what's going on, brother? Maybe we'll be lucky tonight and get rained out. Cross your fingers, everybody. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Be back with you guys for Locked On 76ers coming up at we're going to record at 10. Be released later in the day. And then Phillies postcast tonight on Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be back with you guys tonight on Phillies postcast and Sixers as well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe in the Farzy Show. Catch you guys later.